Alright, rolling. Welcome old family and new family to Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip hop, all culture. You're listening to one of your hostesses, Brandon White, aka Bushido Garvey, as I'm known in many MC circles.
You also listen to see his second co-host on Rob Blow.
Yes. For those who don't know, this is Cypher Scholars. We are local, global, and universal at all times and at all costs. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna ready to hop into this new year. But before we hop into the new year, we gotta do some rundowns about what's been going on lately. So let's see what's on the syllabus. What we got on the syllabus, Rob?
I think first thing first, we have Torey Lanez. We're gonna talk about the Torey Lanez situation. Second on the syllabus is the the vaping situation of e-cigarettes. And last
schools, yeah.
Yep. And last on the syllabus would be the who's the best, which hip hop artist made the best year for themselves in hip hop 2019.
Indeed. So let's hop right into it. So your boy Torey Lanez, a couple weeks ago. This is very relevant because, you know, just like I wonder what the industry's gonna be like in 2020. Will it continue to do the same things it's been doing, or will it change its course? Torey Lanez, basically, you know, shoots some shots at Interscope, and threatens to, I guess, kind of like expose whatever, you know, behind door dealings they're doing. You know, Torey Lanez not too long ago dropped a project called Chicks Tape 5. Did you hear that by any chance, or hear any parts of it?
Nope.
Yeah, so I listened to some of it. I listened to like the majority of it, and he does what he does very well, which is kind of like flip what's now old school. For us, it's like it was music we grew up listening to, but like old school, like Usher.
I actually heard something about the album. I heard that he actually took those samples, but he had those people featured on
exactly.
The album,
it was a dope concept.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I like that, so I definitely got to check that.
Yeah, no, it was a very dope concept, and I found out that concept involved clearing samples from 97 writers.
Ooh, yeah,
because all those songs, all 17 of the songs had probably a few different writers on them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying, including the producers, right? That need to get credit, and so you need to clear it with them and the actual rights owner of the song, because the person who produced the song or made the song creatively isn't necessarily the same person that owns it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it was interesting to hear. So I guess
you gotta tip your hat off to that. That's I think
to do that in this era.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually kind of unheard of in the hip hop genre to have not probably totally, but
in this era.
Yeah, this era for the young kids.
For real.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So he did something really amazing, because to have it on streaming services as well, where that's a whole other beast about how to make sure everybody gets their just due and their rights respected, monetary rights respected. It's really hard, but they pulled it off.
Yep.
I guess it took like 10 months total for it to happen. Right? They spoke with dozens of lawyers to make sure that this happened. So all that to say, to bring it back into what he was complaining about or had an issue about.
Okay.
You know, the album dropped. It obviously took a lot of legwork.
Yep.
A lot of royalties got to be paid to these artists that he originally sampled from.
Yep.
And to me, it seemed like the label put a lot of promotion behind it, but he was saying that the album might be a loss because it still was so much that had to be put behind it, including his own money. He put his own money into it too. So in the midst of all that, he feels like the label ain't giving him his due in terms of like how much money he needs to be eaten off based off of this deal. You know what I'm saying? And his exact words were Interscope Records: "If y'all N-words don't stop playing with me, I'm gonna expose what's really going on in that effing building."
Yep.
Which leads to a lot of questions for me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
I don't know. What can you expose, man? I don't know, man. But
I mean, well, so Interscope is the home of Jimmy Iovine.
Yep.
And
Jimmy Iovine.
And I know he's a legend in his own right, but there's always been something a little shady, in my opinion. And I know Suge Knight be telling some crazy stories, but I remember Suge Knight in his documentary was talking about how Tupac had died. Mm-hmm. And then Jimmy Iovine's, according to Suge Knight, Jimmy Iovine's first response was, "You know how much you can make off a dead man's sales?" So, that according to Knight, I don't know, but it is interesting to see how Jimmy Iovine was totally absent and or quiet while that whole Death Row situation was going on, because Death Row was under Interscope technically, right?
Yep.
You know, everybody talked about who was the most gangster in that. Yeah, exactly. Jimmy Iovine probably was the most gangster out of all of that in terms of like falling back and watching these black dudes just take each other out. You know what I'm saying? And have wars with each other while he makes the most money out of everybody.
Yep, man, it's safe.
Yeah. So so you know, like there's always talks about rituals and just unjust dealings in these major record labels and just like impure things going on. So maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't know.
So the general public is thinking conspiracy theory.
Yes,
theory.
It is.
Sure. When Torey Lanez is saying that you got this label has to stop playing with me or I'm going to expose you guys. You know
right.
what I mean? But the funny thing is, actually Casanova responded to his to him.
Oh, where he responded? What
yeah. He was like, "Yo, you might disappear." So he said, "You need to stop. You say you need to fall back, or you might disappear, or something like that."
Right,
and,
right.
I mean, this is paraphrasing, but he also said that you could come sign with 2 times or whatever label
he's on. Yeah.
So you can come down sign with Casanova over here.
Yeah.
But Casanova did say you need to stop playing before you disappear, something like that. Man.
And you know, sometimes you could tell some cats joke about that kind of stuff because those have always been the rumors.
Yep.
But you know, sometimes
that leads to the conspiracy
theory
thoughts as well. I mean, even with the people in the industry, man. If you think about it, you know what I mean. So.
Right. And yeah, to your point, people in the industry, people outside the industry make those jokes, have those cautions. You know what I'm saying? I guess one fan was like, "Chill, bro. I ain't trying to see you get killed."
Yep.
You know, so you know, like the industry can be a very shady place. DMX talked about it in that. Remember that poem he did? The industry.
Yeah. I remember
Folks,
that, man.
it's nothing to feast on. See me, I'm getting my beast on. Stay in the dirt, play in the dirt. Test the wrong one in the industry, and you will get hurt. He laid it down. He tested the wrong one in the industry. I do remember. I listened to that way too many times. I did. I'm not even going front.
That's real though, man. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, the industry is no joke. You got hip hop police. Come on now. I think labels are working with the hip hop police.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I will believe. You know what I mean? Obviously, hip hop artists have problems with record execs, presidents, CEOs of these labels. You know what I mean? But times has changed, right? Now there's streaming. Now there's a digital era now. What's the word? CDs or compact discs are basically obsolete. You know what I mean? So like for Torey Lanez is also trying to say that he wants to pave the way for the young artists to have a clearer thought when it comes to signing these type of deals. You know what I mean? Because obviously the type of deal that he signed, I feel like he might have been fronted money or he was given an advance and he wasn't able to recoup that advance fully. I would think. You know what I mean? So when it comes to that, I would think that that's the situation that he's upset about not getting his money, because most of the money will be made on touring, will be made on merchandise, will be made on these packages if they come up with packages
and all that,
and all that, the bundles and the Rapunzels, you know.
Bundles on bundles on bundles. That's the wave now. So so maybe there's elements of his deal that are now coming to light where he's like, you know what, like this ain't right, this ain't okay. One does again wonder what is going on in that building or what is going on in that space, because at the end of the day, like, music, I don't care what you say, music and music creation is a spiritual act. It's an act of creating energy and giving energy. And when you're in that space to create music and your intentions are not pure, then you may be doing things, and not to get super hocus pocus spooky with it, but like you may be doing things that don't consider what type of energy. You may do impure things to make pure capital. You know what I'm saying? You may do impure things to make pure capital, and whether that's, you know, like giving artists a bad shake, or actually, you know, like being involved in spiritual things that are not healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, Torey Lanez wouldn't be the first. There have been many artists that have attested to the shade and the dirt that can exist within these spaces. From Nori to Crazy Bone recently was talking about or re-talking about this. Ali Vegas, you know what I'm saying?
You can listen to the Doggy Diamonds interviews. Exactly. You can listen to the Forbes DVD interviews. I don't know if y'all be
Choke No Joke, exactly, because Choke No Joke was on there talking like a lot of stuff. And you can't say all of them are bitter. You can't say all of them are old. You can't say all of them are washed up or all, you know, like It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And even Eminem, who was signed to Interscope, had made a lot of references to the industry being a dark place.
Yep.
And I think it was a song on the Eminem show talking about like trying not to sell his soul to the devil and trying to exit out the game with level head intact. I forgot what song it was. That was my favorite Eminem album though, but I just can't remember.
You know that
Peace to Kells.
But that's cool though.
Hey, I hear you. Peace to Volatile, the 22nd letter. Peace to all the people listening on Facebook Live. You know what I'm saying? So, let's hop on to the next part of the syllabus. So, we got kids out here smoking but not smoking. You know what I'm saying? When you first saw vaping, what did you think? When you first saw it as a thing that was starting to get popular?
I didn't like it. I did not like it from the jump because it being called an e-cigarette, and I felt like obviously they're gonna throw some chemicals in there and all that off of it just to compensate for the chemicals that's in the that's in the
actual
real
tobacco cigarette. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it because I felt like these things would have happened, and it seems like that's what's going on.
That's what's happening right now. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't feeling it. Go ahead.
I think the history class, the best history class at minimum tells you that history repeats itself. And at the end of the day, I feel like you were able to say that about vaping because we saw this happen with cigarettes. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like you put out something that's technically a cigarette but not a cigarette, of course there's going to be things that they do to add chemicals to make things more addictive, or we're going to have to go through the same wars of whether or not it's good for you or bad for you, how bad for you it is. Like, same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, what Nas say? What's that line he said? He said, no idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's not what you do, it's how it's done. Vaping is just a new iteration of the same health debates we have about toxic products that we've been having forever.
That was just a different form of tobacco, man.
Indeed.
That they're giving you.
But you know what though? I realized like it's not even real tobacco. Like it's like basically like it's the nicotine derivative of tobacco.
Oh, so
and that you're vaping that. You're not even vaping tobacco.
Are they taking the chemical out of tobacco?
Yes.
And concentrating it.
Yep.
Within the e-cigarettes.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, man.
They're digitizing everything. Good. You can't even now. You can't even have organic cigarettes. You got to digitize cigarettes.
Cigarettes
now. It's
wasn't
crazy.
even organic.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying though. Like you can't even like have a traditional health risk. You can't even do. You can't even do like a traditional health risk, and then now you got to do it with electronically and whatnot. And like people are still debating about how it's different from cigarettes in terms of how it impacts health. But what's not up for debate is like how addictive it is for kids. I guess in the past year there was research put out there saying that vaping usage amongst teenagers or late teenagers has doubled in the past year. You know what I'm saying? And we're in the schools like, but you know what though? I feel like vaping hasn't got into the like some of the inner city schools yet. I feel like vaping is like a bigger thing in some like rural or suburban schools.
Yeah, I would believe the same thing too. I haven't seen too many public school students or seniors vaping with e-cigarettes too much. I usually see that outside of the public school areas. But the CDC is reporting that related to vaping or e-cigarettes, they're reporting that over 2,000 people were hospitalized because of vaping, possibly because of vaping. I want to say that possibly because of vaping, and 50 people blame the deaths. Well, there was 50 deaths. I think around this number of people that was hospitalized.
And this is this year?
And the people that died, the 50 people that died, their relatives or people around them are saying that they're blaming this on e-cigarettes or vaping. You know what I mean?
And I'm not sure if the numbers were out there in terms of how many of those were young people, but again, it is something that's gained popularity because one, the laws are less clear. They're clear in terms of like how old you have to be 18. But like it's just less of a social taboo to be vaping because it hasn't had the chance to be rightfully demonized as tobacco cigarettes have been. But I guess Congress is trying to pass a bill to raise the minimum age for smoking, according to Education
I heard
Week.
about that. Yeah,
to 21, just like alcohol, right?
Okay.
And I guess this bill also, this bill is bundled with a bunch of other things to increase funding for the Department of Education.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So including like $25 million for research on gun violence, like a few million that will be increased for Head Start and Americans. Was it IDEA? What's IDEA? Individuals with Disabilities Act. I should know it off the top of my head. But some more millions will be thrown that way. Title I funding as well. Title IV. These are all different types of. For those who don't know this type of stuff, it's just big bags. And these are big bags that the country gives to different states and districts, particularly if for Title I, if the students are impoverished, and Title IV for different like student support initiatives. So, like this bill, in addition to trying to raise the age up to make sure that this epidemic ain't going on in schools, is also trying to boost up funding and juice up funding overall for education.
All right, so the concerns for e-cigarettes or vaping is the problem that it could cause for your lungs, right?
Yes,
they're saying
right.
that it could cause a chronic lung disease of some sort. People are saying that it could cause a chronic lung disease. This actually came from a report from the American Journal on Prevention Medicine. They did a study from between 2013 to 2016. The people that they studied did not have any lung problems or anything like that, and over the course of the time of them using e-cigarettes or vaping,
they developed lung problems.
They developed lung problems.
I mean,
whether it might have been related to asthma, whether it might have been related to bronchitis, things of that nature. You know what I mean?
Quick question.
Also, even more severe. Go ahead.
Is nicotine a toxin? No.
It depends on.
Give me the science. Give me the science.
If it come. All right. Well, nicotine is found in other plants as well.
Right. Okay.
It's found in yerba mate.
Okay.
Right. Or that might be, what is it, nicotine or not nicotine, but
caffeine.
Caffeine. I'm talking about caffeine.
Right.
So nicotine, I think, is supposed to be is a natural thing that's supposed to be in tobacco. Okay. But once you centralize it and isolate it from all the other minerals or whatever in there,
right,
whatever, then it becomes a problem.
Got you. And me and you talked about this before, like in terms of like nutrients needing to be a part of a family.
Yes, yeah, it has to be a part of a family for it to function properly. If it's not a part of a family, it becomes a drug.
Right, indeed. So I'm trying to think of
so when I hear that nicotine, I don't think it's extracted. I don't think it was created in the lab automatically. It wasn't.
Right.
I think it existed already. So
if we know that nicotine in its extracted form, and not only extracted but like expanded form, because with traditional cigarettes, like they beef up like that nicotine with different like chemicals and additives and all that, and we know that that's poisonous.
Yep.
Why? And if that same nicotine in one way, shape, or form is in these vaping jump offs, then why would it not cause problems?
Yeah, you know I think they're trying to get away from that. Like from what I've read, I saw that they have they have a concern with something called vitamin E acetate and flavorings of the e-cigarettes.
Okay,
these are the two major things that I saw. I didn't hear anything about nicotine.
All the times I looked at it, that's supposed to be
all the times I looked at vaping, I never heard anything about nicotine. You feel me? So the thing they're calling the only problems that I've saw is flavorings, which could be found in your food, right?
Right, indeed.
And it's also found in vaping. They say, when I read it, they said that it's safe in foods, but it might not be safe in vaping. But it's not safe. Whatever. I ain't gonna get into that.
Get into that. Because why would it be safe for your body but not your lungs?
I gotta get on it.
That's crazy. No, you should. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's wild.
Like it's I don't know. I don't know why it's safe for when it comes to food substances or whatever. One reason is because maybe it has other things that could probably maybe thwart it. Maybe there's other nutrients or something like that maybe could thwart it. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? But
that's wild to hear though. That flavorings.
But they got the different flavors, man. They got the flavors for your for the vaping. You want the mint swag. You want the
indeed
cinnamon type jump offs.
And that's the thing that a lot of like superintendents and principals are getting upset with, because it is so clearly catered towards kids' cravings for like sugary flavors. You know what I'm saying?
And flavoring, you guys got to understand, flavoring is not is not what you think it is. When it comes to law, when it comes to industry, let's say when it comes to industry, it has a different meaning than what you think it is in the public setting. Okay.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
Okay, I'll have to read the definition for you. I don't know the definition off the top of my head, but
generally, like what?
But let me say it like this.
Yeah.
If you had a regular dictionary compared to a law dictionary or a legal dictionary with legal terms of it, then you have two definitions of flavorings. That's what I'm talking about. So, just to make it a little bit more clear for anybody out here that want to know.
So in terms of flavors, like, so the average person, when they hear flavor, like what do they hear? What do they hear that may be different from how government or big companies may be identifying or using that word flavor as?
The general public might hear that this is just like, for example, this cake has been flavored with, or no, this juice has been flavored with raspberry or something like that.
Right.
I mean, when we think of it like this is a natural flavoring, right? Yeah. But when it comes to industry terms, this flavoring actually came from maybe an animal. You feel me? That might not be good for you,
or a chemical,
or a chemical that might not be good for you, like Red 40, Yellow 20. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
Indeed.
But yeah.
So, but I guess, you know, because of all these flavorings is attracting youth, and then, you know, that's a big burden for the youth, obviously, who are, you know, just putting their health at risk, and also for the people who are trying to serve the youth in schools. And I guess there's one district, according to Education Week, that kind of chronicled what they've had to do to try to prevent vaping within their schools and just, you know, provide overall education. It's this rural district. I want to keep this in mind. It's only 600 students in this Laconia district in Washington State, right? There's a large enrollment of Native American students, some Latinx, about half white. And this is what they had to do. For only 600 students, they had to spend $12,000 for vape sensors in bathrooms. They had to make 21 referrals. Mind you, only 600 students, 21 referrals for to counselors for drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and vaping. And this is only for 2019, not 2020. So it's not even the full year, and they've already had to make 21.
Oh, that's crazy.
Right? When last year, they had to make 16 referrals.
Okay.
Right? And the numbers have overall doubled. Exactly. So if this only happens with 600 students and costs this much money, imagine like bigger districts, you know what I'm saying, that have like thousands and thousands and thousands of students. How much you need, exactly. How much money you need for that. So, you know what I'm saying, this is a big thing, and I think maybe, and there's research that shows also that putting in legislation to increase the age would help make sure that kids from age 15 to 17 will not be addicted. But we'll see, you know what I'm saying, we're going to see.
There's going to be more research that's going to come out. You know what I mean, a lot of people are going to speak on it within 2020 vision. I've been hearing this 2020 vision stuff. Y'all got y'all 20.
Indeed. So before we hop into 2020, well, first, let's shout out a couple people listening on Facebook Live. Anthony Lewis, you know what I'm saying, peace to you, peace to Mr. Carey. We hear you, Mr. Carey, you know what I'm saying, like tobacco, we're talking a lot about vaping, you know what I'm saying, and tobacco has been a major behemoth for decades and decades and decades. And that can't be forgotten while we're talking about vaping, for sure.
Edward Bernays, he might have been the reason why people started smoking
father
cigarettes.
Of propaganda.
Edward Bernays, don't think I don't know about that, boy. You know what I mean? Related to Sigmund Freud. Don't even think I don't know about that. We on it. Yeah, we are definitely on it, and we think that can't be because vaping is such a big thing. We cannot forget that tobacco is the father or the grandfather of you know this whole situation, and still directly profits off of the vaping, you know, the vaping craze. So you know what I'm saying, we hope this giant gets taken down sooner than later. So so next on the syllabus, man.
Yes. Who had the best year in hip hop?
I don't know. 2019.
Who are your picks?
I mean, I got some picks. All right. So best moment. The people that made a lot of progression in hip hop to me, and not just exclusive to me, just from what I see. I don't listen to everyone's music. You know what I mean? I haven't been on it like that heavily 2019, but I'm gonna start off with Joyner Lucas, J. Cole.
I think he had the best year.
Just listen, hold up. Joyner Lucas. I'm just throwing them in the air.
I hear you.
Some of these are setups for you. Joyner Lucas.
You ain't supposed to tell me they setups.
Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas. J. Cole, The Baby, Lil Nas X, maybe Torey Lanez. I'm gonna throw Torey Lanez in there a little bit. I'm gonna throw Tiger in there. I'm gonna throw Tiger in there.
Man, you're bugging.
I'm gonna throw Griselda in there. I'm gonna throw all of anybody that was connected with Griselda. I'm talking about what Benny the Butcher, Westside Gun, all of these type of guys, Conway, you know what I mean? All of those type of guys.
Okay.
That's my list right there.
So,
What you got?
Everybody you listed. First of all, I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody say. Oh, you don't even know what I'm about to talk about. Hold on. I don't care what anybody say. Hip hop is alive and well. Just that list right there showed many different types of artists, and all of them have had solid success this year. Hip hop is alive and well. I don't care what nobody say. But I will disagree with some of those people. Like, some of those people had really great years. Some of those people had solid years. But like, I think some of the people that had the best years in terms of everything, I did agree with Griselda. Okay. And part of that's my upstate bias, my Rochester, Buffalo, Niagara Falls bias. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Griselda. I see where you're coming from with the baby. The baby, I think, is one of my favorites for the year, for sure. You know what I'm saying? I think if I had to choose one, it's difficult. It's difficult, but he's definitely in my top for the year. I don't agree with Joyner Lucas. Joyner Lucas had a great year, but not one of the best. J. Cole had a great year, but not one of the best. He's had better years. J. Cole has had better years. Revenge of the Dreamers is a dope project. He snapped on that 21 Savage, but even then, he's had better years.
And he was down. He's down. Oh my God.
He's had some heat, but you neglected to remember to bring up Freddie Gibbs.
Okay, Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs had an amazing year.
I was gonna say that too. Go ahead.
Rhapsody had an amazing year.
This is the first time you have to stop it. Stop.
First time snapping. You are
first time snapping.
Okay, even if that was the case, which is definitely wrong, that album was amazing.
It was amazing.
And it entered into a space into a pop culture space, or a larger pop culture space, that type of rap coming from that feminine energy ain't really been happening.
She had the best album out of females this year. I won't say that.
She had one of the best albums of the year, period. Definitely.
Out of females this year.
No, let me keep on going before I keep going. Meg Thee Stallion, speaking of, she definitely yes, you are slipping, indeed. And then this one kind of didn't count, but because she's not really rap, but like she kind of has that rap energy a little bit. Lizzo.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But I will say those are my, in terms of rappers, people who are straight up rapping. I got DaBaby, my 5: DaBaby, Meg, Rhapsody, Griselda, and Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs and Megan Thee Stallion is what I could agree with on your list right there.
You know no Rhapsody? You are hating.
Rhapsody? Listen, she got fire. She just got fire.
Okay, even if that was the case,
listening to, but
hold on a second. Even
I had to show this man.
Even if you wanted to, okay, so one, we've talked about that, where there definitely have been moments where it's like, oh man, she didn't come as hard as I thought she had in the past. I was actually analyzing. When you actually listen to Layla's Wisdom, when you actually listen to Eve, and let's say that everything she dropped, Eve was the last. Let's say that everything she dropped was not up to par prior to Eve, which isn't true. She may not have had everything be dope, but like she had like that beautiful, I forgot what the name of that project was. The first major project she dropped, the Beautiful Something.
Because it ain't fire.
I forgot it was.
Stop
it. That was like it was in 2010, 2011, or whatever. So the Felicia project was tough too, but we'll that's a whole other argument we gotta have. But let's say everything else was not up to par, and then Eve dropped. Wouldn't that still be an amazing year if somebody had subpar material before 2019, which again is not true, and then all of a sudden you have this beautiful album called Eve that does this unique thing in this hip hop industry?
I could probably put her in the list of doing the best, but nah, not at all, man. She ain't gonna win. I know that. She's not winning.
Wait, she got snubbed this year, but she also got nominated for a Grammy.
That's good
for
though.
Layla's Wisdom.
She deserved that.
She definitely did.
I think she should have won something out of any of those categories, man.
Yeah. You know, so.
All right, so
go ahead.
No. Who do you think out of that list is the best?
Out of that list, who had the best? My favorite out of this year is really hard. I'm gonna have to just roll with my man. That's really hard. I'm just gonna say Griselda because that's who I'm rooting for the most.
I'm gonna say the
like
same thing.
The baby,
I would say Griselda. Anybody that was connected with Griselda, the reason why is because they brought in Black Thought. They did so much stuff. They did so much work
They did a lot
You
of
know what I
work
mean?
this
They did
year,
a lot of
yo.
work, a lot of groundwork and all of
And
that.
every
man.
single one of them projects is very high quality. You know what I'm saying?
So I definitely respect Griselda. The
And how they
music
moved in the industry was
yeah.
impeccable this year.
I'm telling you, man.
You
So
know what I'm
Griselda
saying?
definitely did their thing.
For sure.
The reason why I chose I could actually put J. Cole in there too, because J. Cole, like he when he dropped the album, like NBA picked up the song and just started playing the song on the TV. Like you're hearing it in movies. You're hearing the his songs on the NBA channel.
Right.
You know what I mean, all of that. That's why I chose J. Cole for this list right here. Joyner Lucas, you know what I mean. He
had a
came
great
out with the
year,
song
too.
ISIS. He came out with so many songs. He had this song with Eminem, you know what I mean, which was
Right,
really controversial
no,
and all
for
that.
sure, for sure.
This guy's a controversial person which actually helps out with.
Nah, Joyner had a great year. He's a great MC and
I mean?
has had great years.
Yep.
But in terms of it being his year, I think those 5.
Lil Nas X, you know what I mean?
Lil Nas X too.
He had the highest streamed song ever
Very true.
in history in the hip hop or whatever.
But yo,
yeah, that's it, man.
yeah, yo.
But
So y'all
Griselda,
been
man.
indeed. So just real quick, y'all been listening to Cypher Scholars. We got to hop off air, but I do want to close out 2019 by acknowledging MCs who have passed this year alone, and it's a long list. So I'm just going to name them before we sign out.
All right.
Nipsey Hussle. And some of these people are people you have not heard, by the way, but they are still MCs who are part of communities that were loved and respected and dedicated themselves to the craft. And this is from Nikki Swift, who had posted an article about this. Unfortunately, he's one too many. Nipsey Hussle, Cadet, Kevin Fret, Juice WRLD, Trap House, Tech Nine, Nina Ross, The Boss, Willie Bowe, who actually was shot by police earlier in the year, Bushwick Bill, Succeed Fly Guy, Lil Jon from the Philippines, Jimmy Spicer, Maximilian Cook, who's from here, rest in peace, Maximil, Hella Sketchy, Badass, Slim Tristan, Bank Boy Wayne. May y'all all rest in peace. And for 2020, let's make sure that our rappers, because most of these rappers died before the age of 35. You know what I'm saying? Either through some sort of accident, cancer, or shooting, or drugs. So let's try to, 2020, MCs, let's try to take care of each other, let's try to take care of ourselves, and make sure we're living the best types of lives possible so we can live past these young ages. Indeed. So y'all been listening to Cypher Scholars. We're closing out for 2019. You can catch us on Facebook and online. We'll see y'all soon. Peace and progress.